Our golden son betrayed his brother, slept with his wife, got her pregnant, and lied about the child. So we cut him off and left everything, $2 million worth, to the son he tried to destroy. I need to be honest about something that's been eating at me for months now. My wife and I raised 2 sons, and we played favorites. Not in the way you'd think, we didn't openly love one more than the other. But we gave Jared everything and expected Donovan to handle it. Donovan is our oldest. 34, works as a petroleum geologist, been married to his high school sweetheart Qley for 10 years. He's the kind of man who fixes things himself, pays his own bills, never asks for help. When he was 19 and wanted to go to college, we told him we couldn't afford it. He worked construction for 2 years, saved every penny, and put himself through school. We were proud. We told everyone about our self-sufficient son. Jared is 29. Commercial real estate broker, charming as hell, always knew how to work a room. When he wanted to go to college, we refinanced the house to pay his tuition. When he got engaged at 25 and it fell apart 6 months later, we paid for the engagement party anyway, 15 grand for a relationship that never made it to the altar. We told ourselves he just needed more support. He was sensitive, creative, needed us. Looking back, I can see what we did. We gave Jared our money and Donovan our expectations. And Donovan met every single one without complaint. Things were good for a long time. Donovan and Qley seemed solid, no drama, trying for a baby, quiet life. Jared was the fun uncle, always around for holidays, bringing wine to their place when Donovan was away on field assignments. Which was often. Petroleum geology means long stretches in remote locations. Qley would joke that she was basically single 3 weeks out of every month. About a year ago, I started noticing Donovan pulling away. He'd skip Sunday dinners. When he did show up, he barely spoke. Just sat there, pushing food around his plate, looking exhausted. We figured it was work stress. My wife would ask if everything was okay, and he'd give us that tight smile and say fine. Qley started coming to dinners without him more often. He's just tired, she'd say. Working too hard. And Jared started filling the gap. He'd pick Qley up, drive her to our place, keep her company. Help her with house projects while Donovan was gone. We thought it was sweet. Brothers taking care of family. I should have known something was wrong. Donovan used to call me every week, just to check in. Those calls stopped. When I'd call him, he'd answer but keep it short. His voice flat. Distant. Once I asked him directly, "Son, what's going on?" "Nothing, Dad. Just tired." But it wasn't nothing. I could hear it in his voice, something broken that I didn't understand. And instead of pushing, I let it go. Because that's what we did with Donovan. We trusted him to handle it. 3 weeks ago, Donovan showed up to Sunday dinner unannounced. We hadn't seen him in over a month. He looked like hell, 20 pounds lighter, dark circles under his eyes, unshaven. Qley was already there with Jared, laughing about something, wine glasses on the table. The room went quiet when Donovan walked in. "Hey, big brother." Jared stood up, that easy smile on his face. "Didn't know you were coming." Donovan didn't respond. Just stood there in the doorway, staring at them. At Qley. At Jared. The air felt wrong. "Honey?" Qley's voice was small. Nervous. We tried to make it normal. My wife set another plate. I asked about his latest project. He sat down, didn't touch the food. Just stared at his plate while Jared told some story about a difficult client, animated, loud. Qley laughed but it sounded forced. 20 minutes of excruciating small talk. Then Donovan stood up. "Tell them." Qley's face went white. "Donovan." "Tell them, Qley. Or I will." My wife and I looked at each other, confused. Jared had gone very still. Qley's eyes filled with tears. Her hands were shaking. "I'm pregnant." For a second, there was pure joy. My wife gasped, started to get up, smiling. Finally. After all these years of trying. And it's not mine. The words hit like a punch. My wife froze halfway out of her chair. I couldn't process what I'd just heard. Donovan's voice was completely flat. Dead. He wasn't even looking at Qley anymore. He was looking directly at Jared. "Tell them whose it is." The silence lasted maybe 3 seconds. It felt like an hour. "What do you mean it's not yours?" My voice didn't sound like my own. Qley was crying now, mascara starting to run. Jared hadn't moved. Hadn't said a word. "Jared?" My wife's voice cracked. "What is he talking about?" Qley's breath hitched. "I'm so sorry. God, I'm so sorry. How long?" Donovan's voice was still that terrible flat monotone. Like he'd already checked out of his own body. 8 months. Qley could barely get the words out. "It started when you were in Alaska. Jared came over to help with the sink that was leaking, and you just what? I was standing now, not sure when that happened. You just what? It didn't mean anything. Qley's voice pitched higher, desperate. It was a mistake, it just kept happening, I don't know how. How far along are you? My wife asked, and I could hear her trying to do the math in her head. Trying to find a way this made sense. 3 months, so it could still be. My wife looked at Donovan with this horrible hope in her eyes. You were home 3 months ago, you two were still. No. Jared finally spoke. His voice was quiet. He was staring at the table. It's mine, I've never wanted to hit my own son before that moment. How do you know? I was barely keeping it together. Because they stopped sleeping together 6 months ago, Jared said. Still not looking up. She told me. It's been regular. My wife made a sound like she'd been punched. I turned to Donovan, searching his face for something, rage, tears, anything. But there was nothing. Just that empty stare. Donovan, I'm so sorry. Qley reached for him. He stepped back before she could touch him. Don't. It was a mistake, Jared said, and finally looked up. And here's the thing that made my stomach turn, he looked sorry. Genuinely devastated. Eyes red, voice shaking. I'm so sorry, brother. I was weak, she was lonely, it just happened and I hate myself for it. I do, the old Jared. The one who could charm his way out of anything. Even this, it was once? I asked, needing it to be something less. Something forgivable. No, Donovan answered for them. His voice was so calm it scared me. It was deliberate. Multiple times. In our bed. In our house. While I was working to pay the mortgage. Qley sobbed harder. Donovan, please. Jared stood up. I know I don't deserve it, but you're my brother. You've always been the better man, the stronger one. I'm begging you. Forgive me. And there it was. The script Jared always used. You're the strong one. You can handle this. Be the bigger person. We can figure this out, my wife said, and I heard the desperation in her voice. The same desperation I was feeling. Qley made a mistake. Jared made a mistake. But that baby is family, I finished. The words felt right when I said them. We can get through this. Family forgives. Donovan laughed. It was a terrible sound. You want me to forgive him? He's your brother, my wife pleaded. Please, Donovan. Don't let this destroy our family. Destroy our family? Donovan's voice finally cracked. Mom, he slept with my wife. Got her pregnant. And you're asking me not to let it destroy our family? We don't know for sure it's his, I started. I know. Donovan cut me off. I've known for months. What do you mean? My wife asked. When Qley and I couldn't get pregnant after 5 years, I got tested. Last year. He was looking at me now. Really looking at me. I'm sterile, Dad. Low sperm count, some genetic thing. The doctors said natural conception was basically impossible. We were going to start looking into IVF. The room tilted. The baby isn't mine. It can't be mine. My wife grabbed the back of her chair for support. I couldn't breathe. And you? Donovan's voice was shaking now, the calm finally breaking. You just asked me to forgive him anyway. To raise his kid. To keep the family together. Donovan, please, let's just talk about this. I moved toward him. No. He grabbed his jacket from the back of the chair. You made your choice. You always have. We're not choosing anyone. My wife was crying now. We're trying to keep everyone together, by asking me to sacrifice my dignity. Again. Donovan headed for the door. We both followed him out to the driveway. He was moving fast, keys already in his hand. Donovan, stop. I grabbed his arm. He shook me off. Please, son, don't leave like this. My wife was begging. Let's figure it out together. Family stays together. We can work through this. He opened his car door, paused. For a second I thought he'd changed his mind. You made your choice, he said quietly. You always have. Every time it mattered, you chose him. You paid his way through college. His engagement party. His rent that 1 year he couldn't find work. And you know what you asked me to do? Handle it. Be the strong one. That's not fair. And now you're asking me to handle this. To be the bigger person. To forgive my wife sleeping with my brother and raise his kid because that's what family does. He got in the car. Donovan, please, I was actually crying now. Don't do this. He looked at me through the open car door. You did this. Not me. He drove away. We stood in the driveway, my wife sobbing against my shoulder, watching the taillights disappear. Inside, we could hear Qley still crying. Jared saying something we couldn't make out. He'll come back, my wife whispered. Once he cools down. He'll come back. I wanted to believe her. The next morning, I drove to Donovan's apartment. The door was unlocked. That should have been my first clue. Inside was empty. Completely cleared out. No furniture, no photos, nothing. Like he'd never lived there at all. On the kitchen counter, his house keys sat next to a single piece of paper. I picked it up with shaking hands. Keep the family together. You'll need each other. I called Donovan's phone from the empty apartment. Disconnected. Not just off, the number didn't exist anymore. I drove home in a daze. My wife was at the kitchen table, laptop open, phone in her hand. His cell's dead, she said before I could speak. I tried emailing. It bounced back. His Facebook is gone. Instagram, everything. The apartment's empty. He cleared out overnight. She looked up at me, and I saw the panic I was feeling mirrored in her eyes. People don't just disappear like this, but he did. I called his company that afternoon. The receptionist was polite but firm. Mr. Brennan accepted a position with another firm. His last day was Friday. I'm not authorized to share additional information. I'm his father. I understand, sir. But we don't give out personal information about former employees. I'm sorry. I tried his supervisor directly. Got voicemail. Left 3 messages. Never got a call back. My wife reached out to his friends. Most didn't respond. One finally did, a guy named Penn he'd known since college. He asked us not to pass along any information, Penn said. He sounded uncomfortable. I'm sorry, but I have to respect that. Penn, please. We're his parents. We just want to know he's okay. Long pause. He's okay. He's more than okay. But he was really clear. No contact. With anyone. Did he say why? He didn't have to. Penn's voice got quieter. We all know what happened. What Jared did. What you guys, he stopped himself. Look, I'm sorry. I really am. But Donovan's my friend, and he asked me for this one thing. I can't betray that. The call ended. He's treating us like we did something wrong, my wife said that night. We were lying in bed, both staring at the ceiling. Neither of us could sleep. Maybe we did. She didn't answer. Qley moved back to her parents' place 3 weeks after Donovan left. The divorce papers came through a lawyer we'd never heard of. Clean, quick, no fault. Qley signed without contesting anything. She looked like a ghost when she came by to pick up some mail that had been forwarded to our house. Have you heard from him? She asked. Her hands rested on her stomach. The pregnancy was showing now. No, she nodded, eyes filling. I deserve this. I know I do. But I need him to know how sorry I am. We all do, my wife said softly, but there was no way to tell him. He'd vanished like smoke. Jared, meanwhile, was falling apart in slow motion. He still came to Sunday dinners, but the charm was gone. He looked hungover most of the time. Stopped talking about work. When my wife asked how things were going, he'd just shrug. Have you talked to Qley? I asked him one night, 4 months after Donovan left. Why would I? Because she's pregnant with your child. He flinched. I never asked for this. You made a choice, Jared. You don't get to walk away from the consequences. Donovan walked away. The words hung there. My wife actually stood up and left the room. Your brother left because we failed him, I said quietly. Every single one of us. Including you. Especially you. Jared's jaw tightened. You always take his side. There aren't sides here, Jared. There's just what you did. He left early that night. Didn't come back for 3 weeks. Qley went into early labor at 6 months after Donovan disappeared. We got the call at midnight. Should we call Jared? My wife asked as we drove to the hospital. Yes, he didn't answer. I left 4 voicemails. The baby came fast, small but healthy. A boy. Dark hair, Jared's nose. Qley held him and cried, and I didn't know if it was joy or grief or both. Have you thought about names? My wife asked gently. I was going to ask Donovan, Qley whispered. We had a list. Before everything, she named him alone. We didn't ask what she chose. I called Jared again from the hospital corridor. He finally picked up. Qley had the baby. It's a boy. He's healthy. Silence on the other end. Jared, I'm not ready for this. That's not an option anymore. You handle it, Dad. You and Mom. I can't. I'm not built for this. Jared. He hung up. When I went back to the room, my wife was holding the baby. Qley was asleep, exhausted. The baby was crying, thin, sharp wails that seemed to fill every corner of the room. He didn't come? My wife asked. I shook my head. She looked down at the baby, and I saw something break in her face. This was our grandson. Our family. And it was built on wreckage. We helped Qley as much as we could over the next week. The baby was colicky, barely slept. Qley looked like she aged 10 years. She kept asking if we'd heard from Donovan, like maybe the baby being born would bring him back. It didn't, we heard nothing. Absolute silence. Then, 1 week after the birth, a package arrived at our house. Plain brown box, no return address. Inside was a DNA testing kit, the kind you order online. There was a note in Qley's handwriting, shaky and desperate. I need to know. Maybe if it's Donovan's, he'll come back. Please help me do this. I'm begging you. My wife opened the box with trembling hands. 2 swabs. Instructions. A prepaid envelope. She still thinks, my wife's voice broke. She still thinks there's a chance. We know there isn't, but what if? He told us. He's sterile. It can't be his. She looked at the kit, then at me. Then this will prove it. Finally. No more doubts. We drove to Qley's the next morning. She let us in without a word, the baby screaming in a bassinet by the couch. I swabbed the baby's cheek while my wife held him still. His cries were relentless. We need to swab Jared too, my wife said. Qley's face crumpled. He won't answer my calls. We'll get him there, I said, though I had no idea how. It took 3 days and finally showing up at his apartment unannounced. He looked like hell, unshaven, apartment a mess, bottles on the counter. We need a DNA sample, I said. He laughed bitterly. Why? We know it's mine. For legal purposes. Child support. Custody. His face went pale. I can't afford. Should have thought of that before you slept with your brother's wife. He opened his mouth, then closed it. Finally held still while I swabbed his cheek. We mailed everything that afternoon. The woman at the post office said results would take 6 to 8 weeks. What if Donovan's right? My wife asked as we drove home. What if we're doing this for nothing? Then we'll know. Finally. No more lies. But deep down, we already knew the truth. We just weren't ready to face what came after. 6 months, that's how long it had been since Donovan walked out of our lives. Half a year of silence so complete it felt like he'd never existed at all. We stopped celebrating holidays. Thanksgiving was just the 3 of us, me, my wife, and Jared, who showed up drunk and left before dessert. Christmas was worse. My wife wrapped presents for Donovan anyway, put them under the tree. They sat there unopened until February when she finally, quietly, put them in the attic. Every Sunday felt like a funeral. The empty chair at the table. The conversations that died mid-sentence. The weight of what we'd lost pressing down on all of us. My wife checked his old email every morning. Nothing. She'd Googled his name. Nothing new. We were living with a ghost. The private investigator we'd hired called after 6 weeks. Mr. Brennan, your son knows how to disappear. New phone, new address, new bank accounts. He's had help, probably a lawyer. He doesn't want to be found, and frankly, he's done everything right to make sure he won't be. So that's it? Unless he reaches out, yes. That's it. I paid the bill and never told my wife. She didn't need to know we'd failed at that too. Qley was drowning. The baby, she'd named him Oliver, a name that meant nothing to any of us, screamed constantly. Colic, the doctors said. Some babies are just difficult. He'd grow out of it, but in the meantime, Qley looked like a zombie. Dark circles, hair unwashed, wearing the same shirt 3 days in a row when we'd stop by. Her parents helped when they could, but they were older, exhausted by a screaming infant. Where's Jared? I asked her one afternoon. Oliver was wailing in his crib. Qley was staring at the wall. I don't know. He came by once. Held Oliver for maybe 10 minutes, then said he had a work call. Her voice was completely flat. That was 3 weeks ago. Have you called him? 17 times. He doesn't pick up. My wife took the baby, started bouncing him. The crying didn't stop. Qley, you need help. Real help. I needed Donovan, she whispered. I needed him and I destroyed it and now, she gestured vaguely at the chaos of her life. This is what I deserve. We couldn't argue with that. Jared was unraveling faster than we'd realized. I found out he'd lost his job when his landlord called me. Jared had listed us as emergency contacts. He was 2 months behind on rent, not returning calls. Mr. Brennan, I like your son, but if he can't pay, I'll have to start eviction proceedings. I paid his rent. Didn't tell my wife. Then I drove to his apartment. He answered the door in sweatpants and a stained t-shirt. It was 2 in the afternoon. The place smelled like old takeout and alcohol. You lost your job. He didn't deny it. Just shrugged and walked back inside, leaving the door open. I followed. What happened? Word got out. About Qley. About. He waved his hand vaguely. Small industry. People talk. Clients started requesting different agents. Boss said I was damaging the company reputation. He laughed, bitter. Guess home wrecking doesn't play well with family-oriented buyers. So you're just giving up? What do you want me to do, Dad? He grabbed a beer from the fridge. Breakfast, apparently. I can't undo what I did. Donovan's gone. My career's screwed. And there's a screaming baby out there that I'm supposed to, what? Pretend to love? Play daddy? I'm 29 years old. I wasn't ready for this. You should have thought about that. Yeah, I know. You think I don't know? He slammed the beer down. I made a mistake. One mistake, and my entire life is destroyed. Donovan gets to start over, clean slate, and I'm stuck here in the wreckage. One mistake? Jared, you slept with his wife for 8 months, she came on to me, and you said yes. Again and again. You made a choice, we stared at each other. I didn't recognize my son anymore. Or maybe I was finally seeing him clearly for the first time. The baby needs a father, I said quietly. Then maybe Donovan should've. He stopped himself. Should've what? He looked away. Nothing. I left him there, surrounded by his own mess. The DNA results arrived on a Tuesday morning, 6 weeks after we'd mailed them. Standard envelope, clinical logo in the corner. My wife called Qley. I called Jared. We all met at our house that evening. Qley brought Oliver, who was mercifully asleep in his carrier. Jared showed up 20 minutes late, reeking of cigarettes. Nobody spoke as I opened the envelope. My hands were shaking. I pulled out the paper. Read the summary line. Probability of paternity, 99.98%. Jared Brennan is the biological father. The silence stretched. Qley started crying silently, tears just streaming down her face. She didn't make a sound. Well. Jared's voice was hollow. There it is. You knew, my wife said suddenly. She was staring at him. You knew all along. What? You knew it was yours. When Donovan said he was sterile, you knew. Qley's head snapped up. What? Jared's face went pale. I didn't. When did Donovan tell you? I was standing now, everything clicking into place. When did he tell you he couldn't have kids? The silence was answer enough. Jared. Qley's voice shook. You told me it was probably his. You said. Last year, Jared finally said, so quiet we almost couldn't hear him. He told me last year. When they were starting fertility treatments. He was upset, needed someone to talk to, he laughed, broken. He trusted me. You son of a B word. My wife's voice was barely above a whisper. You knew. The entire time. You knew that baby couldn't be his. She wanted it to be his. Jared's voice cracked. Qley wanted a way out, wanted to go back to him, and I let her believe. You tried to pin your child on your brother. I felt something snap inside me. You were going to let him raise your son. Let him think. He would have been better at it than me. Jared exploded. He's the responsible one. The good son. That's always been his job, clean up everyone else's mess. I thought if he didn't know, if everyone thought it was his. Get out. Everyone froze. My wife was standing, shaking with rage I'd never seen before. Get out of my house, Mom. You're not my son anymore. Her voice broke. The man I thought you were never existed. Get out. Jared looked at me. I said nothing. After a long moment, he grabbed his jacket and left. The door slamming echoed through the house. Qley was sobbing now, Oliver waking up and starting to cry. My wife and I sat there in the ruins of our family, that piece of paper on the coffee table between us. That night, after Qley left and Oliver's cries faded down the driveway, my wife opened her laptop. What are you doing? I asked, something I should have done months ago. She typed Donovan's name into LinkedIn. Hit search, and there he was. New profile picture, professional, confident. Smiling. A real smile, not the tight, exhausted ones we'd gotten used to. Senior petroleum geologist at Summit Resources. Awards section updated. New certifications. Relationship status. In a relationship. His most recent post, from 2 weeks ago. Grateful for second chances and the people who see you for who you really are. My wife's hand was covering her mouth. I read the post again. He wasn't just surviving. He was thriving. He'd built a whole new life. Without us. Without any of us. And that smile in his profile picture, it was the smile of a man who'd walked away from a burning building and never looked back. We spent hours that night going through Donovan's LinkedIn. Every post, every connection, every update. Trying to piece together the life he'd built without us. He'd been promoted twice. Spoke at an industry conference in Houston. Published a paper on offshore drilling techniques. The comments on his posts were full of congratulations, respect. People who clearly knew him, valued him. None of them were us. He looks happy, my wife whispered, zoomed in on his profile picture. Really happy. I couldn't respond. The truth was too painful. Our son was better off without us. Should we try to contact him? she asked. I looked at the screen. At the man who'd built himself back up from nothing. Who'd walked away from his entire life and somehow came out stronger. I don't think we have that right anymore, but we tried anyway. My wife sent him a LinkedIn message. Short, simple, Donovan, we just want to know you're okay. We love you. Please, just let us know you're safe. Days passed. No response. No read receipt. Nothing. I called his new company. Different receptionist, same answer. We don't give out personal information about employees, sir. I'm his father. I understand. But our policy is firm. We tried mutual connections, people who worked with him, old college friends we could track down. Most ignored us. One finally responded. He asked us not to pass anything along. He's doing great. Really great. Please respect his boundaries. His boundaries. Like we were strangers. Threats, maybe that's exactly what we were. Jared moved back in 3 weeks after the DNA results came out. He showed up on a Sunday afternoon with 2 duffel bags and a face full of shame. Got evicted. Can I stay here for a bit? My wife looked at me. I saw the exhaustion in her eyes, the same exhaustion I felt. We were too old for this. Too tired to fight anymore. Guest room, I said. Temporarily, that was 4 months ago. He was still here, he'd aged years and months. 29 going on 50. No job, no prospects. He'd started applying places, but word had spread. Small industry, smaller world. Nobody wanted to hire the guy who'd destroyed his own family. He spent most days in his room. Some nights I'd hear him crying through the walls. I couldn't bring myself to feel sorry for him. Qley filed for child support in March. The papers arrived at our house since Jared didn't have an address of his own. $1,200 a month. Jared stared at the document. I don't have a job. How am I supposed to? You'll figure it out, my wife said coldly. The court hearing was worse. Qley's lawyer laid it out clearly. Jared was the biological father, he had financial obligations. The judge agreed, but then Qley's lawyer said something that made Jared go white. My client is also requesting shared custody. She needs help. The father needs to step up. I can't, Jared stammered. The judge cut him off. Mr. Brennan, you're the child's father. Your preferences are irrelevant. Every other week, starting next month. Jared looked like he might throw up. After the hearing, in the parking lot, Qley approached us. She looked thin, exhausted. Oliver was bigger now, quieter, but still fussy in his stroller. I know he doesn't want this, she said. But I can't do it alone anymore. I just can't. My wife hugged her. We'll help however we can. But we all knew the truth. This baby, this innocent child, was a living reminder of what had been destroyed. And Jared was going to have to live with that reality every other week for the next 18 years. The first week Jared had Oliver was a disaster. He called us at 2 a.m. He won't stop crying. I've tried everything. I don't know what to do. My wife went over, helped him through it. Came back at dawn looking shattered. He's terrified, she said. Absolutely terrified. He has no idea how to be a father. He should have thought about that, I know. But watching him try, she paused. It's like watching someone drown in slow motion. Week after week, the same pattern. Jared barely functioning, calling us constantly, counting down the days until he could hand Oliver back to Qley. He loved that child the way you love a prison sentence, and I realized, this was his punishment. Not our anger, not the lost job, not the eviction. This. Being forced to face the consequences of what he'd done every other week for the rest of his life. My wife and I sat down with our estate lawyer in late April. Gordon had handled our will for 20 years. He knew the family. Knew the situation. Everyone in town did by now. We need to change our will, I said. All right. What kind of changes? My wife and I looked at each other. We'd talked about this for weeks. Fought about it. Cried about it. Finally agreed. Everything goes to Donovan, I said. The house, the savings, the investments. All of it. Gordon's pen paused. And Jared? Nothing. Nothing at all? Not a cent. Gordon leaned back, studying us. You understand he'll likely contest this. Let him try. You're of sound mind? No one is pressuring you? We're sure, my wife said firmly. More sure than we've been about anything. Gordon was quiet for a moment. May I ask why? I thought about how to explain it. About the son who'd worked his way through college while we paid for his brothers. The son who'd asked for nothing while we gave his brother everything. The son who'd been betrayed in the worst possible way and heard us defend his betrayer. We failed him, I said simply. When it mattered most, we chose wrong. We can't fix that. But we can do this, even though he might not accept it. Even then, Gordon nodded slowly. All right. I'll draft the documents. It took 2 weeks. We read through every page, signed everything. Gordon had included a statement explaining our reasoning, how we'd failed Donovan, defended Jared, asked the victim to sacrifice for the perpetrator. This makes it much harder to contest, Gordon said. You're clearly of sound mind and have documented your reasoning. We had him send a copy to Donovan's company, certified mail, marked personal and confidential. Along with it, a letter my wife and I had written together. Donovan, we don't expect forgiveness. We don't expect you to come back. We don't even expect you to read this, but we need you to know, we finally chose you. Too late. Years too late. But we chose you. The DNA test confirmed what you told us, Jared is Oliver's father. He knew the entire time. He tried to let you raise his child. His betrayal was calculated, deliberate. We've rewritten our will. Everything, $2 million in assets, goes to you. Jared gets nothing. This isn't about the money. It's about saying clearly, legally, permanently, you were right. We were wrong. And if we can't give you your family back, we can at least give you this. We love you. We failed you. We're sorry. We don't deserve a response. But you deserve to know that you won, Mom and Dad. We mailed it on a Tuesday. Weeks passed. Nothing. Maybe he didn't get it, my wife said one morning. He got it. How do you know? Because if he didn't want it, he'd have sent it back. We held on to that small hope, that he'd opened it, read it, knew. Jared found the paperwork on a Saturday morning. We'd left copies on the kitchen table while we were going through them one more time. He came downstairs for coffee and saw his name, or rather, the absence of it. I heard him from the living room. What is this? My wife and I walked in. He was holding the will, hands shaking. You're cutting me out? Completely? Yes, I said. I'm your son. You destroyed your brother's life, my wife said quietly. Deliberately. Knowingly. And showed no remorse. I made a mistake. You made a choice, I cut him off. A series of choices. And this is ours. He stared at us like we were strangers. He left. He's been gone for almost a year. Radio silence. And you're giving him everything? Yes. What about me? I'm the one who's still here. I'm the one trying to. You're here because you have nowhere else to go, my wife said. Donovan built a new life. You collapsed into ours. The words hit him like a physical blow. This is BS. I'll contest it. I'll fight this. Gordon says you'll lose. Jared's face twisted. So that's it? Golden Boy wins again? Even when he abandons his family? He didn't abandon us, I said quietly. We abandoned him. Jared threw the papers on the table and stormed out. We heard his car peel out of the driveway. My wife picked up the scattered pages, hands shaking. Do you think we did the right thing? I thought about Donovan's LinkedIn smile. The life he'd built. The second chance he'd found. I think we did the only thing we could. That night, Jared didn't come home, and 3 days later, an envelope arrived in the mail. No return address. Postmarked from a city 800 miles away. Inside was a single piece of paper. My wife's hands trembled as she unfolded it. The letter was typed. No handwriting we could cling to, no personal touch. Just cold, clean text. I received your letter and the will documents. I don't need your money. I don't need your guilt. But I'll accept it, on one condition. Use $500,000 to set up a trust for Oliver. He didn't ask to be born into this mess. Make sure he's taken care of. Education, emergencies, whatever he needs. He's innocent in all of this. The rest, donate to the National Foundation for Families in Crisis. Do it in my name if you want. I don't care. I don't want to owe you anything. Not even closure. Don't contact me again. D. That was it. No love, no your son, nothing. Just an initial. My wife read it 3 times, then set it down carefully, like it might shatter. He's not coming back, she whispered. No, ever, no. We sat there in the kitchen where this had all started nearly a year ago. Where Donovan had stood and said tell them and watched his entire world collapse. Where we'd chosen wrong. He doesn't need us, my wife said, voice breaking. He really doesn't need us anymore. And that was the cruelest truth of all. We did exactly what he asked. Gordon set up the trust for Oliver, $500,000, managed by an independent trustee, untouchable until he turned 18. Education, medical expenses, emergencies only. Qley cried when we told her. Jared said nothing. The remaining $1.5 million went to the foundation Donovan specified. They sent a thank you letter, asked if we wanted to attend a donor recognition event. We declined. This wasn't about recognition. This was about doing what our son asked. Maybe the first time we'd actually listened to him in years. Jared never came back that night, or the next, or the one after that. He showed up a week later, looking worse than I'd ever seen him. Gaunt, hollow-eyed. He'd been staying in his car, apparently. Showed up only because it was his week with Oliver and Qley had called him 6 times. "I'll contest the will," he said, but there was no fight left in his voice. "Gordon says you'll lose." We documented everything. We're of sound mind. Our reasoning is clear. "I'm your son." "Yes," my wife said. "And we failed you too. We enabled you. Made excuses. Gave you everything without teaching you consequences. We created this." He stared at her. "So I get nothing? You get what you earned." He picked up Oliver's car seat. The baby was screaming, as usual, and left. A year has passed since Donovan walked out of our lives. 18 months since the affair started. Jared lives in a studio apartment across town now. Works at a shipping warehouse, night shift. It's the only job he could get. Every other week, he has Oliver. Every other week, he calls us at 3 a.m., exhausted, asking how to handle teething or tantrums or the endless crying. We help because Oliver deserves that much. But we don't bail Jared out anymore. He pays his own rent now, covers his own bills, figures it out or suffers the consequences. He's aged 10 years. Looks 40. The charm is gone, burned away by late nights and child support payments and the weight of knowing he destroyed everything for nothing. This is his life now. This is what he built. Qley moved to another state 6 months ago. Closer to her parents, fresh start. She has primary custody. Jared sees Oliver on scheduled visits, flies out once a month. The distance is probably better for everyone. She sent us a Christmas card last year. Just her and Oliver. She looks healthier. The baby's smiling in the picture. There's no mention of Donovan, but I wonder if she thinks about him every time she looks at Oliver's face and sees Jared instead. We check Donovan's LinkedIn sometimes. Not every day anymore. But sometimes. Last month he posted about a new project, leading a team in offshore exploration. The photo showed him in a hard hat, surrounded by colleagues, all smiling. He looked confident. Strong. Free. There was another photo in his recent posts. Him and a woman, Ingrid, her profile said. Civil engineer. They were at some industry gala, dressed up, his arm around her waist. The way he looked at her in that photo, I'd never seen him look at Qley that way. He'd found someone who didn't break him. Someone who chose him first, and we'd never meet her. My wife and I are getting older. We feel it now in ways we didn't before. The house is too big, too quiet. Sunday dinners are just the two of us now. Sometimes Jared shows up, exhausted and silent. Sometimes he doesn't. We talk about Donovan sometimes. Wonder what he's doing, if he's happy, if he ever thinks about us. Do you think he'll ever forgive us? My wife asked last week. I thought about that letter. The coldness of it. The finality. I don't think forgiveness is the point anymore. He doesn't need to forgive us. He's moved on, without us. Yes, she was quiet for a long time. Then, he won, didn't he? And I understood what she meant. Jared lost everything, his career, his family, his future. He's trapped now, tied to a child he never wanted, paying for his choices every single day for the next 17 years. And Donovan? He walked away from the wreckage and built something better. Found someone better. Became someone better. He didn't fight. Didn't yell. Didn't seek revenge. He just left. And that absence, that empty chair at every holiday, that silence where his voice used to be, that hole in our family that will never be filled, that was the revenge. We failed him. We chose his betrayer over him. We asked him to sacrifice his dignity for the sake of family, and his response was to show us he didn't need our family. He built his own. The cruelest revenge isn't destruction. It's indifference. Donovan doesn't hate us. He doesn't think about us at all. We're just ghosts in a past life he's moved beyond. Sometimes I imagine what I'd say if I saw him again. I've rehearsed it 1,000 times. The apology. The explanation. The plea for understanding. But I know now he'd never give me the chance. And maybe that's what I deserve. We raised 2 sons. We thought we were good parents. Thought we were doing our best, but we created a monster and broke a good man. Jared became what we enabled him to be. And Donovan became what he had to be to survive us. Our $2 million sits in a foundation bearing his name. Our grandson has a trust fund he'll never know came from a grandfather's guilt. And our eldest son has a life we'll never be part of. This was our reckoning. And his revenge. We failed him once. The will was our way of saying we finally understood. Finally saw. Finally chose him. Too late. Years too late. But we chose him. Even if he never wants us to. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.